In the opulent cocoon of a first-class cabin, a wealthy woman's hand cracks across a federal air marshal's face, shattering the silence. What unfolds next doesn't merely stun the passengers. It ignites a firestorm of defiance, a thunderous ovation, and a moment so raw it will force you to rethink courage, justice, and the human spirit. You won't want to tear your eyes away from what happens next. Dear viewer, brace yourself for more than a tale. It's a blazing testament to the fierce, quiet strength and relentless pursuit of justice in overlooked corners. If this is your first time here, drop a comment below to share where you're watching from. If stories like this grip your soul, spark your mind, or stir your heart, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. We amplify voices that demand to be heard daily. Thank you for joining us. Now, dive into the drama. A slap's sharp sting sliced through the polished hush of first class, halting every whisper, freezing every champagne flute, and shattering the fragile veneer of civility. Bathed in the golden glow of an Emirates A380 soaring toward Vancouver, the air itself seemed to flinch. Penelope Hart, cloaked in luxury and arrogance as effortlessly as her cashmere scarf, towered over a man so unassuming he'd been nearly invisible until this moment. Her manicured hand lingered in the air, quivering from the fury she'd unleashed. Her every muscle radiated wrath, disdain, and a deeper, uglier venom. Noah Carter, Federal Air Marshal, sat unflinching. 2 decades of training had steeled him for chaos, hijackings, life or death calls at 30,000 feet. But now, he offered only stillness. A trickle of blood marked his lip, yet his eyes, calm and unyielding, locked onto Penelope's without a flicker of fear or rage. They carried a knowing weight, as if he'd faced this hatred before and stood ready. A collective gasp swept the cabin. Passengers froze, suspended in shock. A young woman by the window, Sophia Ramirez, a wide-eyed student on her first overseas adventure, clapped a hand over her mouth. A businessman's whiskey glass clinked softly, abandoned. Even flight attendants stood rooted, eyes wide, torn between action and awe. "You people," Penelope hissed, her voice a venomous blade. "Don't belong up here. You don't deserve it." Her words cut deeper than the slap, heavy with a history too raw to name but impossible to ignore. Piercing, ugly, undeniable. Noah blinked once, a slow, measured act. His fingers grazed the blood on Lilipop, almost clinical in precision. Then, a faint smile curved his lips. Not defeat, not fury, but a defiant spark of resilience, a radiant humanity no hatred could crush. That smile, not the slap, shattered the cabin's delicate balance. Whispers stirred, hesitant at first. Eyes darted from Penelope to Noah. Shock turned to realization, then outrage. Even the elite, steeped in wealth, sensed a seismic shift beneath the first-class opulence. At the cockpit door, Captain Mason Walsh stepped forward, summoned by the uproar. His seasoned gaze scanned the scene, instantly recognizing Noah's quiet authority. Not loud bravado, but the steel of integrity. "Ma'am," Walsh said, his tone steady yet commanding, "return to your seat now." Penelope spun toward him, primed for a tirade, but the weight of the passenger's silent scorn stopped her cold. Her face flushed, her chest heaving with stifled defiance. For once, Penelope Hart faced a crowd without allies, only judgment. She sank into her plush seat, hands shaking, not with rage now, but with shame. Noah said nothing. He didn't need to. The air around him roared with meaning. This was no longer Penelope's domain. It belonged to a greater force, a reckoning stirring in the hearts of the overlooked. It began with Sophia Ramirez. Young, trembling, yet resolute, she rose and spoke, her voice a clear blade through the stunned silence. "That was wrong." A suited man echoed her, his voice booming. Utterly shameful. Then, a miracle unfolded. One by one, passengers stood, tentative, then bold. A clap rang out, then another, until the cabin thundered with applause. Not for violence, but for the iron will to meet hatred with dignity, embodied by a man who refused to break. Noah didn't rise to bask in it. He dipped his head, humble, a warrior of peace. At 30,000 feet, beneath sterile lights, a line was drawn, not of vengeance, but of hope, kindled by one person's choice of grace over fury. None knew yet, not Noah, Sophia, nor Walsh, that this was only the beginning. That slap, that smile, that ovation would spark a wildfire of change far beyond this night, this plane. It all ignited here, with a single act of defiance. The echo of Penelope Hart's slap lingered like a storm cloud in the first-class cabin. Passengers, once lost in wine lists and magazines, now sat rigid, stealing glances at the assaulted man and his assailant. Noah Carter remained a statue, calm, unshaken, his faint smile a bold rebuke to Penelope's venom. Across the aisle, Sophia Ramirez gripped her armrest, her pulse racing from her daring stand against Penelope's cruelty. She hadn't planned to speak. The words had surged forth, unstoppable. Watching Noah, she saw his strength wasn't mere toughness. It was the rare courage to stand tall when the world sought to crush you. Noah's slight nod toward her, a wordless thank you, tightened her throat with emotion. She'd only meant to do right, yet felt truly seen. Penelope sat stiffly, staring ahead, her power crumbled. She was no longer mighty, just a shadow, caged by her own making. Flight attendants fussed nervously, eyeing Noah. One, Elise Grant, knelt beside him, her voice steady. "Sir, should we file a report? Authorities can meet us on landing." Noah's calm gaze met hers. "No need," he said. The moment spoken for itself. Elise paused, torn between duty and awe at his composure, then stood, her respect clear in her stride. The cabin buzzed with hushed voices, no longer about vacations or deals, but about Noah's refusal to match violence with violence, his dignity against raw prejudice. Sophia scribbled in her notebook, not doodling, but steadying her trembling hands, desperate to capture this moment, not its ugliness, but its radiant aftermath, the triumph of restraint over rage. Elise watched Sophia and Noah, her heart tangled with emotion. She'd served countless VIPs, endured tantrums over trivialities. But this, a man absorbing shame without yielding, inspiring courage, was unprecedented. Captain Walsh's voice crackled over the intercom, calm and firm. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. We're continuing to Vancouver without delay." The words soothed, but for those who'd witnessed it, understanding was now a mandate. The world had shifted. Noah resumed reading his e-reader, the act revolutionary in its simplicity after the storm. Sophia scrawled in her notebook, "Strength isn't shouting louder, it's standing firm when the world pushes back." Penelope shrank in her seat, diminished by the cabin's silent verdict, once revered, now scorned. A flight attendant slipped a cookie onto Noah's tray. "Thank you," he said with a gentle smile, a quiet exchange of gratitude between strangers. As cabin lights dimmed for sleep, the atmosphere softened, yet held its charge. Passengers reclined, but many kept reading lights on, clinging to the glow of what transpired. Sophia gazed out the window into endless night, feeling bolder than before. Elise, tidying nearby, smiled inexplicably. In the cockpit, Walsh thought of his daughter, hoping for a kinder world. Noah, unwavering, carried them through the dark. One smile had done it, one refusal to shatter, one beacon of contagious dignity. After the storm of that clash, the cabin fell into a reverent hush. Whispers wove through seats, not gossip, but awe. All knew they'd seen something profound, though words escaped them. Noah leaned back, his reading light a soft halo. Trained to navigate crises unseen, he'd become a lighthouse today. Across the aisle, Sophia's pen scratched her notebook, chronicling her Vancouver journey. Growth, fear, victories. She hadn't expected its deepest moment to spring from shared courage aboard this A380. Elise offered Noah tea, a silent gesture of respect. He accepted with a nod, their brief exchange heavy with reverence. Sophia summoned her nerve, crossed the aisle, and sat beside Noah. In the engine's hum, they shared a quiet moment. "You're the calmest person I've ever seen," she said. Noah's faint smile warmed. "It's practiced, especially when they expect you to crack." Sophia tucked her hair back. "Thank you for being stronger than that hate." His eyes held her earnest gaze. "You stood up too," he said warmly. "Speaking out isn't small." Sophia's chest swelled with pride. It hadn't felt brave, just vital. Yet his words hit deep. "Are you always this composed?" she pressed. Noah sipped his tea. "I have my moments, but my work teaches you. In chaos, the grounded one tames the storm." Sophia nodded, peering into the night sky. "Most don't see the storm until it's too late." "Most don't want to," Noah murmured. "It's easier to ignore until the wreckage is undeniable." Their talk flowed freely. Sophia, a writer seeking her voice in a noisy world, poured out her struggles. Noah listened, never cutting in. "You have a voice," he said. "You used it today." Her heart lifted. Few had affirmed her so surely. Noah spoke vaguely of security work, his guarded words hinting at hidden battles. Not shame, but necessity veiled his stories. They swapped tales of cities, books, the lonely weight of hotel rooms. The plane felt like a timeless haven. Elise passed, smiling at their laughter, a reminder that connection defies cold reality. Sophia leaned closer. "Most would have fought back. You changed the plane without a word." Noah shrugged. "Darkness doesn't yield to more darkness. You outlast it, holding your light steady." His simple words choked Sophia. She'd seen bravery as loud. This was quiet, unshakable, invisible. Time slipped away. Sophia showed Noah a quote in her notebook. "Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's the quiet voice saying, 'I'll try again tomorrow.'" Noah smiled. "That's it." They sank into silence, two strangers bound by understanding, soaring through a sky vast enough to hold all history, gentle enough for their fleeting bond. Stars above bore witness to every hate, every hope. Below, two resilient hearts chose hope. The intercom jolted the calm. Captain Walsh's steady voice announced, "We're diverting to Seattle-Tacoma for a technical check. No cause for alarm, just protocol." A collective sigh mixed with unease. Elise sprang up, her reassuring smiles calming frayed nerves. Sophia gripped her armrests, rattled not by flying, but by life's unpredictability. Noah's calm nod steadied her. No words, just battle-tested presence. They landed smoothly in drizzle, the tarmac gleaming under floodlights. A 3-hour layover was announced for inspection. Passengers grumbled, but Noah stayed seated, unruffled. Elise guided the crowd to the terminal. Sophia, drawn to Noah's calm, walked with him naturally. The terminal's stark lights clashed with their warm connection. At gate C13, snacks and weary staff awaited. Sophia found 2 corner chairs. Noah joined her, his carry-on at his feet. They sat in easy silence, watching the weary travelers. "Layovers feel like limbo," Sophia said, grinning. Noah's chuckle warmed the chill. "Sometimes limbo's where you're meant to be." She pondered life's endless transitions, college, love, dreams, always between past and future. Their talk deepened, built on trust forged in the clouds. Sophia shared her writing fears, her voice's weight in a loud world. "You've got something to say," Noah said. "That's rare." His words felt like truth, not flattery. Noah hinted at his life. Airports, anonymity, creeping loneliness despite discipline. "I chose this," he said, eyeing his coffee. "It's not always easy." Sophia knew that bone-deep loneliness no crowd could cure. Their silence was intimate, profound. Elise's passing smiles blessed their bond. Sophia's notebook lay open, but she closed it. Some moments demand living, not recording. Noah taught her a breathing trick. 4 counts in, 6 out, slow exhale. It tells your body you're safe. They breathed together, anchored in the now. The airport whirled, reunions, phone calls, tired toddlers. But their corner was still. Boarding was announced. They lingered, savoring their sanctuary. "This detour gave us this talk," Sophia said softly. Noah nodded. "Sometimes the detour is the real path." Her smile bloomed, unguarded. Their hands brushed as they rose, lingering with unspoken weight. At the gate, Elise gave them adjacent seats. Sophia caught Noah's eye before takeoff, a silent pact that something had shifted within them. As the plane soared, Sophia thought, "Life's best moments aren't mapped. They find you when you're lost." Across the aisle, Noah thought the same. Los Angeles glittered below as they descended. Sophia's heart steadied, a taut cord loosened by a deeper shift. Noah's calm gaze softened, touched by their shared detour. Walsh's voice announced, "We're landing at LAX on schedule. Thank you for your patience. It's been a wild ride." The wheels touched down, sparking soft cheers. Seatbelts snapped open, but Sophia lingered, savoring the sacred end. Noah's nod was a quiet farewell, heavy with meaning. In the terminal shuffle, Sophia kept glancing at Noah's steady stride. They stood together. Sophia, Noah, Elise, in a fleeting bond. Families hugged, phones buzzed, but Elise's warm smile held them close. "We won't forget this flight," she said. Sophia laughed. "Never." Walsh passed, his knowing nod honoring their shared triumph. Goodbye loomed heavy. Noah handed them each a plain card. Name, number, no pretense. "If you need anything," he said, "or want to keep talking." Sophia held the card, a heavy key to an open door. "Thank you, Noah," she said, her voice thick. Elise pocketed hers. "The world needs you," she said. They lingered, reluctant to part. Elise waved, fading into the crowd. Sophia searched Noah's eyes, finding shared weight. They parted with a nod. No promises, just luminous truth. In Los Angeles' electric night, Sophia felt gratitude for the slap that broke walls, the layover that built bonds, the humanity that wove them together. Life would rush on, meetings, deadlines, but she carried a new tenderness, an openness to fleeting connection. She tucked Noah's card away. Maybe she'd call, maybe not. Didn't matter. A single moment could reshape your heart. You don't cling to it, just live it. In life's vast weave, the deepest changes spark in unexpected storms. For Noah, Sophia, and Elise, a routine flight became a crucible. A cruel slap, steeped in ancient prejudice, reminded them humanity's wounds linger, even at 30,000 feet. But the slap didn't define the day. Noah's unyielding grace did, turning shock into unity, anger into hope. What could have been a fleeting spat grew into a revolution. A smile, brave words, a roaring ovation. These weren't just reactions, but an awakening. Sophia found a door to vulnerability cracked open. Elise saw true strength and grace under fire. Noah, the stoic warrior, learned vulnerability deepens humanity. They left with more than luggage, a memory of ordinary humanity turned extraordinary, proof we're bound by every glance, choice, and silent courage. Their lesson burns bright. Life's purpose isn't the destination, but the moments that seize us. Choose mercy over rage, connection over solitude, courage over silence. Strength isn't loud defense, but bold empathy for those who dim you. In a divided world, rebel with kindness. See the barista, the rival, the stranger. Pause amid frustration or cruelty, and be the unexpected grace. You never know whose life your act might shift. Like Noah, Sophia, and Elise, we're all travelers through moments and stories. The true journey isn't planned. It finds you when you least expect it. If this story stirred your heart, reminding you of compassion's power, subscribe to our channel. Your support drives us to share tales of resilience and kindness. Join us for the next adventure. The next life-changing moment awaits.